Hey everyone, this is Chappie over here at Intense, and for today's video we're going to be going over how to do a tubeless tire conversion on your new Intense 951 XC or Intense 951 Trail. So you'll see we have two valve stems here that are included along with your bike in the accessory bag. Then also purchased along with your bike is 2 bottles of 100 ml tire plasma from E13. Lastly, the only tool that is really required to make things a little bit easier is our tire lever. Alright, so this process is most easily done with the wheels removed. So for this, let's go ahead and remove our front wheel. What we're going to do is loosen our valve stem lock nut and just simply release all the air from the tire. Now what we're looking for is to get most all of the air out, but there's no need to get every single bit of it out. As long as we're getting some kind of depression in the tires like this, we know we have more than enough air out. So from this point, we will remove our lock nut from our valve stem here. One key point we want to take note of here is we're only going to be removing one side of our tire bead, and this will help to ensure that we won't require a compressor in order to rebead the tire. So when we're doing this, we're going to do it with the disc rotor facing us so it's less likely to get contaminated. And then we'll be pulling with our fingertips from the opposing side. I like to start at the valve stem and then working our way around. So using our fingers, tire or thumb on the top of the tire, you can roll the edge of the tire back and begin to peel it off of the bead. Just keep working our way all the way back around to our valve stem. And there we are, back up at the top. We'll use our tire lever. So we'll pull the tire back, insert our tire lever very carefully not to puncture our tape or damage our tire. Insert, pull the tire over the edge of the rim. And from this point, you can really just slide that tire lever around the rim. And then that will release the bead of the tire from the rim. All right, with the bead of the tire released from the rim, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and pull the tire back over. We will push our valve stem of our tube up, and that enables us to grab this from the top side of the rim. And that will release the valve stem from the rim and then simply just pull the tube out of the wheel and tire assembly. It's a good idea, even though we're removing our tube, that we hang on to this tube and even carry it with us. That way, if we're ever to get a flat or damage a tire during a ride, we can install this tube on the trail side in order to keep us going. Now, our wheel is ready to receive a new valve stem that is tubeless specific. So included with your bike, you'll be receiving a tubeless valve stem. So you'll see it will have a rubber base, it will have our silver valve stem, and then it'll have our locking nut here. We'll remove that lock nut, remove that O-ring. So as we pull our tire back, we'll also take note to this yellow tape. This is called rim tape. This rim tape ensures that no air goes from the cavity of the tire through the rim and leak. So we want to take care as we install this valve stem that we do not damage the rim tape. So we'll install this, slide that into position, depress with our thumb until the rubber head of that valve stem bottoms out. We will install our small O-ring onto the valve stem and then follow that up with the black lock nut for our valve stem. Slide that up. And one key factor to ensuring that this is a nice tight seal is we'll take our thumb, depress firmly, and then just using our fingers, tighten that lock nut. From this point, we'll take one 100 ml bottle of tubeless sealant that will be purchased along with your bike. There will be a foil seal on top of this. You can actually just use the cap of our tubeless bottle to puncture that foil. One thing we want to make sure of as well is that we give the tubeless sealant a good shake in order to mix all the particles within the suspended fluid. We'll pour the entire bottle of our tubeless sealant into our tire cavity. So Pull the tire back. Let the entire bottle drain into our tire cavity. Now from this point, the easiest way to go about reinstalling the tire is simply just place, starting from the bottom, we'll place the tire bead inside of our rim channel and then just slowly work from the bottom all the way around, finally ending at our valve stem. Now typically, you don't need a tire lever for reinstallation. So what we'll do is just make sure our tire is lined up into the center bead of our rim, and then just simply using our fingertips, we'll roll that tire over the edge of the rim. Doing this definitely helps to ensure that we don't pinch the tape or cut the tape or damage the tire in any way. We'll take our handy dandy floor pump here. We're gonna make sure our valve stem lock nut is loose, and that will allow air to flow into the tire cavity. Install our tire pump, and then we'll get pumping away. So we want to go up to 20 psi. From that point, we'll make sure the tire has beaded properly, and then from that point we can go up to 30 to 35 psi. Okay. So as we go through pumping the tire up to that 20 psi, you may hear 2 to 3 pops, and what that is the tire bead setting onto the rim. Completely normal, and that's exactly what should be happening. So now that we're at 20 psi, we're just gonna check our tire to rim reveal, and it's nice and even all the way around. So we know that our tire has been properly set. So now we're gonna go up to 30 psi. Okay, so at 30 psi, we'll remove our tire pump. What we're going to do is a simple process that helps to ensure that the tubeless sealant has fully coated the inside of the tire in rim joints. So with the rotor facing up, away from you, we'll basically take the tire and do small taps all the way around the circumference of the wheel. So with that complete, this wheel is now ready for reinstallation into the bike. Now let's move to the back. So we'll get the air out of our tire the same exact way we have before with our front. Now we'll make sure our rotor is facing in. And then same process as before. We'll start by removing our lock nut on our valve stem. Then using our fingertips and our thumb, we'll use that as a lever and pull the bead of the tire off the rim. Work our way all the way back around to the valve stem. Gently place our lever into position. Roll the tire over the rim, and just like before, we'll simply slide that tire lever around the rim. We'll press our valve stem up in order for us to grab it over the top of the rim, and we'll pull our tube out. And again, very important, apply firm downward pressure onto the top of the rubber part of the valve stem, and then we'll use our fingers to tighten that black lock nut. All right, so now we can move to installing our tubeless sealant into our rear tire. Pull our tire back, opening up the cavity of the tire, and then simply just let all of the tubeless sealant drain into the tire cavity. We will lift our wheel up slightly and go ahead and place our tire bead within the rim channel. Once that's done, we are ready to put air into our tire. And then we're gonna go ahead and pump the tire up to 20 psi and then ensure that the bead has been properly set. Now that we're at 20 psi, we'll go ahead and check the reveal of the tire to the rim all the way around, making sure that's consistent and everything looks good. Now that we're at 20 psi, we're gonna go ahead and bump it up to 30 psi, and that's a good setting pressure for our sealant. With our rotor facing down and our cassette facing up, just like the front, we're gonna go ahead and distribute that sealant. So with that up to 30 psi, our sealant distributed within the tire cavity, we are ready to reinstall the wheel onto the bike. So there you have it. We have successfully completed the tubeless conversion on our Intense 951XE. The same process is identical on the Intense 951 Trail. The tubeless conversion is a really easy thing to do, and it actually has a lot of benefits. One is weight, and two is reliability. When you're out on the trail, you get little thorns or sticks in your tires, that tubeless sealant will work for you and seal those holes up before your tire goes flat. If you have any questions on this process or need any assistance throughout the way, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll be more than happy to help you get your bike dialed and you happy on the trail. Thanks for choosing Intense.